You know, we usually think of history unfolding over years, even decades. But every now and then, the future doesn't just knock, it kicks the door down over a single weekend. We're going to talk about 72 hours back in September 2025 that didn't just make the news, they fundamentally rewired the future of AI as we know it.
It sounds like something from a movie poster, right? But as we're about to see, the events of this one weekend kicked off a chain reaction, a series of tectonic shifts that we're all still feeling today. So yeah, could 3 days really change everything? Okay, let's get into it. So, we're breaking this down into 3 crucial days. First, we'll see how the very foundation of AI, I'm talking raw compute power, got consolidated in a massive way. Then, how that race for power went global, basically starting a new tech Cold War. And finally, the moment AI stopped being just a tool on your screen and became a true digital coworker.
It all starts right here. For the longest time, the tech world was obsessed with software. But this weekend, it became crystal clear that the new currency of power isn't code, it's compute. And the price to even sit at the big kids' table just went to the moon. $100 billion. Just let that number sink in. This was the bombshell that started it all. The reported value of a massive strategic investment by Nvidia into its partner, OpenAI. Their goal? To build an absolutely insane amount of AI data center capacity. This wasn't just a business deal, it was a flag in the ground, a declaration that they were building a computational empire.
And that was just the first domino. You can see on this slide the chain reaction it set off. While Nvidia and OpenAI were building this incredibly powerful, vertically integrated giant, look at Meta. They're playing 2 games at once. They dropped a cool $20 billion with Oracle to make sure they weren't reliant on just one supplier, a super smart move. And at the exact same time, they teamed up with the US government to make their open source Llama model the standard for federal use, basically turning it into a kind of national asset.
All of this created a totally new reality, and it even gave us a new term for the people in charge, compute barons. And we're not just talking about CEOs anymore. These are the new power brokers. They control the physical hardware, the foundational layer of the AI economy, and that gives them an incredible amount of influence over pretty much everything. Suddenly, the cost of entry to build truly next-generation AI became impossible for almost everyone else. Now you can bet that this massive consolidation of power in the West did not go unnoticed. The fight for computing resources immediately spilled out onto the world stage, hardening a divide that had been growing for years. This was the moment the tech Cold War stopped being a metaphor and got very, very real. And this next slide shows exactly how the world split into 2. On one side, you've got Team USA, dominated by Nvidia's ecosystem. They win with the absolute best chips and their unbeatable CUDA software. But on the other side, in direct response to US sanctions, you have Huawei. They couldn't get those top-tier chips, so what do? They got clever. They doubled down on system-level innovation, announcing things like their SuperPod interconnect. The whole idea was to link thousands of their good enough domestic chips together so efficiently that the entire system could go toe-to-toe with Nvidia's best. And the fallout from this is huge. We are literally watching the descent of a tech curtain. It means that models and software built on Nvidia's stuff won't just easily run on Huawei's, and vice versa. This isn't just a headache for developers, it's a fundamental split in the global AI landscape, creating 2 separate and pretty much incompatible worlds. Okay, so while all this hardware drama is unfolding between the giants, a quieter, but maybe even more important, revolution was happening in software. AI was making the leap from being a passive assistant to an active, autonomous agent. This wasn't just about helping us do our jobs faster, this was about AI doing the job itself. To really get how big a deal this is, just look at this evolution. We all started with AI as a basic tool, like spell check. Then it got a promotion to assistant. Think GitHub Copilot helping you write code. But this next leap to agent, that's a whole different ballgame. An agent isn't just helping with a task. You give it a goal, and it figures out and executes the entire multi-step process all by itself.
And no, this is not some far-off sci-fi concept. During that exact same weekend, a company called AppZen raised $180 million for a platform that does exactly this for finance departments. Their AI agents are basically digital coworkers. So they don't just flag a weird-looking invoice and wait for a human. The agent identifies the bad invoice, it halts the payment, it notifies the right people, and it drafts an email to the vendor to sort it out. It manages the whole workflow. We're talking about a shift from software that follows commands to software that achieves goals. So what does this agentic shift actually look like in the real world? Well, it's pretty stark. This quote from the CEO of Fiverr, which came out right around this time, says it all. The company laid off a huge chunk of its staff, and they were brutally honest about why. With AI agents handling complex jobs, they just didn't need as many people. This was one of the first loud and clear signals of the massive workforce changes that were coming.
So, we've got new empires built on silicon and a new class of digital workers clocking in. The final piece of the puzzle from that wild weekend? It's us. The race was on to control how you and I would actually interact with all this new intelligence. The battle for our reality had begun.
And what's fascinating is you see two totally different philosophies emerge. Meta went all in on a massive, high-risk bet, new hardware. Their vision? That AI-powered smart glasses are going to replace the smartphone. Meanwhile, you've got Apple and Google playing defense, fortifying their existing kingdoms. They're embedding AI deeper and deeper into iOS and the Chrome browser, using their billions of existing users to lock them in even tighter.
But honestly, the glasses weren't even the biggest part of Meta's announcement. The real showstopper was this, the neural band. It's a wristband that reads the electrical signals your brain sends to your hand, letting you control the glasses with tiny, almost invisible gestures. Why is that a game changer? Because the biggest problem with smart glasses has always been, how do you control them without looking like a fool? This band could be the answer. It's basically a mouse for the real world.
So let's just step back for a second. In the span of about 72 hours, the ground literally shifted under our feet. A new class of compute barons was crowned, a tech curtain started to fall across the globe, and the first wave of digital coworkers started showing up for work. It's time to figure out the new playbook for this remade world.
So what does this all actually mean? How does this completely new landscape change the game for businesses, for investors, for governments, and yeah, for you?
Well, here's the new playbook. If you're a corporate strategist, just having an AI strategy isn't enough anymore. You need an agentic strategy. You have to rethink entire workflows around these autonomous agents. If you're a VC, the big money is in the new agentic stack, the software that will manage and secure these new digital workforces. For policymakers, just controlling chips is yesterday's game. You now have to think about the entire system. And for the rest of us, the writing's on the wall. We need to prepare for a huge shift where one of the most valuable skills you can have is managing a team of AI agents.
And all of this leads us to one final and maybe the most important question. That weekend remade the power structures of our digital world. We now live in an era defined by a handful of compute barons who own the foundation and a rising class of autonomous digital coworkers who do the work. So in this new world, who actually gets to write the rules?